Okay, this should be pretty quick. It's not a very long lesson. So hopefully you'll have plenty of time to do your practice here in just a few minutes. But please make sure we are listening and following along. Then we'll get started with the lesson practice for the day. Okay, so before we start, a couple of things that I want you to note. Larger minus smaller is when we find the difference. So we take a bigger number, we subtract a smaller number, we're getting the difference. If you do older minus younger, same thing. Taller, shorter, you're finding the difference in height. Faster and slower, you're finding the difference in what?
Speed.
Speed. Later and earlier, the difference in what?
Time.
Time. Good. Okay, so here's an example of larger and smaller. It says 7 different containers are on a loading dock awaiting shipment. Sounds about right, except for multiply that by thousands and thousands, because all these shipments are waiting to be loaded and shipped somewhere, right? They're all sitting somewhere on the dock because there's nobody to work to put them on a container to ship out.
Lazy.
So
They have robots.
I wish it was just 7, but we got a lot more than that in the real world. 7 different containers are on a loading dock awaiting shipment. The heaviest container weighs 245 pounds. The containers range anywhere in weight from 245 to 160 pounds. The heaviest container weighs how many pounds more than the lightest? So we're talking about larger versus smaller. So what do I do, Savannah?
245 minus 160.
Okay, very good. So if I do that, it's going to take a little bit of borrowing and regrouping, which is no big thing. So my answer should be 85 pounds, what?
Less. Waiting on the dock.
The question said the
It's
heaviest
less.
container weighs how many pounds more?
It's 85 pounds more.
85 pounds more. Good. Okay, well, if I talk about later versus earlier, I'm talking about time. You guys were able to answer that question pretty quickly. So if I say how many years were there from 1492 when Columbus sailed the ocean blue to 1620, how do I solve that? What do I do? Bowen.
1620 minus 14.
Okay. So a little borrowing and regrouping again. And that should be 128 what?
Years.
Years. Don't forget to label. Okay.
On number 5, there's a 40.
Okay, we're not there. So later minus earlier, again, elapsed time. A school day at Edison School begins at 8:10 a.m. What will that look like on my clock? Where does the shorthand go versus the longhand? Okay, Otto.
The shorthand goes to the 8.
Uh-huh.
And the longhand goes to the 2.
Very good. Okay. So I've got 8:10 shown right here, and it says a school day ends at 3:15. What is the length of a school day at Edison School? So what I could do is I could take my 8, figure out how many hours ahead until I get to 3. So 9 is 1 hour, 10, 2 hours, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full hours, right? Because if I did 7 full hours, it would be 3:10. But it ends at 3:15, so I have to add how many minutes? 5 minutes. So how many hours again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 hours and 5 minutes. Perfect. It says, what is the length of a school day? So I don't have to have AM or PM. It would just be 7 hours and 5 minutes is how long your school day is.
Because you're not telling us specific.
Because I'm not telling a specific time. Right. Okay, your written practice for today starts on page 239. It goes to 240. Please show all necessary work. I'm going to pass out your pages to you. As soon as you get it, you can start.